What's up, everyone? Welcome to Yoga with Adriene. I'm Adriene, and today we have yoga tips. These are tips to help you grow your practice. So we're going to integrate some thoughts today on the spine, really considering this line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Something that we refer to in some of our foundations of yoga as the Danda. The word Danda is Sanskrit for rod, or staff, or stick, which is why we perhaps call, the stick pose Dandasana, which we're actually going to do today. So, teaser. So to begin, we're just kind of jump right in today and just kind of like workshop this together a little bit via the internet. That's why I love these yoga tip videos. Okay, so find a comfortable seat. If you can come to your knees, then give that a try. If not, cross-legged, or maybe even this part in a chair. And just take a deep breath in and close your eyes and just visualize your spine, your Danda, if you will. And you can go as far as you can or want with me on this. You can just kind of enjoy your breath. But maybe you might also take this moment to just give a little thanks and a little energy towards this part of the body that's so incredible and holds you up, literally, right? And if you have monkey mind right now, again, tap into your breath, and you might just give yourself concrete, start at the base of the spine and then travel up, just seeing it. If you're into anatomy, you might just kind of visualize it all the way up to the crown of the head. And if you're like, whoa, Adriene's starting to get weird on me, just breathe and sit up nice and tall and acknowledge the spine. Then you can take a couple seconds here to just kind of work out any kinks in the neck. Might as well, especially when we're talking about this Danda, to maybe draw circles with the nose one way and then the other. Loop the shoulders if that feels good. And while you're doing that, I'll just talk a little bit about this line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. It's so important that we acknowledge that the neck is an extension of the spine. And for beginners, this can be kind of a aha moment. It seems so obvious, but then you get into crazy poses. And not only do we forget about the neck, but we forget about how important the energetic body is, especially in poses like half moon or triangle, which we're going to also play with today. So a couple moments more of working out any kinks. And then bring your head back to center and draw your palms together at your heart, and then really, really over exaggerate, lift your sternum to your thumbs here. So we're kind of finding this big lift in the upper body, the shoulders relax down. And then slide your fingertips to your lower ribs, and everyone scoop your tailbone down towards the core of the earth and just hug your lower ribs in just a hair. And then tuck your chin into your chest just slightly and lengthen through the crown of the head. If you started on your knees and you're like, girl, this is hurting me, then come to cross-legged. Always adjust when you're feeling like the body's trying to tell you something. So again, we'll just talk through that again. We're coming from this kind of lifted heart, this exalted shape in the spine, this crown of the head's kind of going back, throat chakra is open, lifting, lifting, lifting. Should have worn a tighter shirt for this. Hey-o! This is my first hey-o in this space. Hilarious. Okay, and then let's try again. Tucking the pelvis, tailbone grows heavy, fingertips kind of come to the lower rib cage. I find that helps, and we just draw them in and tuck the chin slightly. Okay, and I should say too, depending on what level of yoga you're at, I hate that level, where you're at in your journey, on the mat. If you're not feeling these things, just kind of stick with it anyway, see what happens, and chances are, I'm sure you'll get something out of the video that maybe I didn't even know you would. So on to the next. So if you didn't connect to anything there, that's okay. But we're just kind of spreading awareness through this Danda, this staff or this stick, this line of the body that literally holds us up. Come to all fours now. If you need a second to kind of roll the wrists or stretch the legs, please do. You know my mantra. And then we'll come to a tabletop position. Now this is like gold. Seems so simple, but it's so important. A lot of times, and you're gonna have to look at the video for this, this is what happens when we come to tabletop position. The navel drops down, the tailbone scoops up, and people are ready to go into cat-cow, and we come to tabletop position and we're either here or here. This is collapsed. My energetic body, this is usually where we're at. I'm kind of exaggerating, but not really. The body's kind of holding on or hugging into kind of old habits. And so we're here to kind of play with that. So I'm going to spread the palms super wide for starters. Then I'm going to square knees, ankles and toes off. Knees underneath the hip points, wrists underneath the shoulders. Then this hurts. This is like a lot of weight here, and my spine is just kind of like hovering in an awkwardness. So I'm going to draw my navel up to the spine, finding length in my lower back. Then I'm going to press away from my yoga mat and broaden through the upper back body. Then a lot of you have heard me say this before, but imagine placing a little beverage of your choice, I'll say, on the back of the neck so that we're remembering, oops, sorry, that was loud in my mic, to find extension here. Take a couple breaths and play with this. See if you can create a nice long line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone, all one piece. A couple of action points that really help me, really drawing the shoulders away from the ears. This is great, just kind of stabilizing, strengthening for the shoulders and just kind of getting ready for downward dog and growing that practice into eventually a comfy, juicy pose. Hugging the lower ribs in just like we did with our fingertips on the ribs. Really pressing into my foundation, so engaging the tops of the feet without necessarily like creating tension or, you know, like a squeezing in the bum, but just an engaging quality. And then take a break with a little cat-cow, kind of lifting the tailbone, opening the heart forward. And exhale, rounding the spine, just countering this a little bit. And then inhale. And exhale. And then on your next inhale, back to tabletop position. Cool. If you're really strengthening in the wrists, really, I'd like for you to kind of go, this is just kind of like 2 for 1 here, but really go ahead and press into your knuckles. So you're not kind of crashing into the base of the wrist here, but clawing through the fingertips and pressing into all 10 knuckles strong. Then we can play with that and test our Danda, or this line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone, by lifting the knees. Now seems like a strengthening thing, and it is, but we're really trying to kind of test things out here, making sure the neck is integrated. I'm drawing my navel up, lengthening through the lower back body, lifting up through the heart. One more breath here. We're shaking, we're hot, and then we release. Awesome. Go ahead and take a break and roll the wrists. So this is an awesome practice and just awareness to integrate into your life if you want to improve your posture. You know, people always say yoga improves your posture, and then people always get into yoga and they're like, it's so true. And it's not that the practicing of the poses is correcting your posture magically in one instant, but it's that overall continual practice and awareness that of course bleeds, you know, off the mat and into the everyday, and boom, all of a sudden you're sitting pretty. So let's practice now this idea of kind of maintaining energy from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone in a pose like triangle. I think it's a great pose to practice that in. So we're going to come to a nice low lunge. Take your time getting there with the right foot forward and the left foot back. So there's never any need to rush, especially when you're just kind of working on your practice, trying to deepen it at home. So you might as well use this opportunity to stretch one way and then stretch the other. And then plant the feet mindfully, stack your front knee over front ankle, and then whenever you're ready, no rush. Pivot on the back foot. And then we'll keep that front knee stacked over the front ankle, draw the right elbow to the top of the right thigh, and we begin to press into the outer edge of the left foot. So extended side angle, drawing energy up through the arch, really charging through the left leg here. And then notice how just naturally, like I'm kind of going in a Quasimodo shape here, totally normal. And then we get so tight because we're on our phones and computers. Then we try to come into this pose and it looks like this. So the power of the Danda. Tailbone lengthens towards the left heel. I energetically draw energy up through my spine. That was redundant. And then awareness through the crown of the head. It is hard work. Remember the fingertips on the lower ribs. As you hug the lower ribs in, engage the abdominal wall. Now we're talking beautiful connectivity. Great, it is hard work. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You can keep the left hand on the waistline here as you practice. Notice if the right ear is coming down. Don't get lazy. Let's slowly begin to build this strength, this energy up through the crown of the head, and then you'll be able to kind of come here with more ease with practice. Take a variation here if you like. Breathe deep. And just see if you can find equidistance between the earlobes. So again, this tends to happen a lot here. Find space. Draw the shoulder blades together, lean back into it, and then if you're feeling adventurous, straighten that front leg and try a triangle out here. Ooh. Resist the urge to crash into your ankle or even grip to the floor. See if you can take a second to hold here, drawing your right shoulder underneath and just testing out the power of that line, crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Awesome. Inhale in, exhale, bend your right knee, release. We're just going to come all the way through center and then take it to the other side. So drop your right knee, come into a low lunge, stretch it out here first. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. And then when you're ready, pivot on the back foot. Strong foundation in every posture, so take your time. Then we'll bring the left elbow to the top of the left thigh, and there's a tendency already to kind of crash down into it, so begin to grow integrity. Tailbone reaches towards the back heel. I have a big rib cage too, wants to jut out like, yeah, yoga, which is good sometimes, but we're really working on the Danda today, so fingertips gonna kind of draw the lower ribs in. And I'm gonna remember when I was hovering in that tabletop position, kind of the work and the effort it took to integrate everything, really drawing the navel in towards the spine, crawling the shoulders down away from the ears. Take a variation here, challenging yourself to maintain this beautiful energy from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Extended side angle, and then maybe you might play with triangle pose. Everyone, draw your left shoulder under, extend through the crown of the head, lengthen through the back of the neck. One more breath here, you got it. And then exhale, bend the left knee, come back to your lunge, and take a child's pose on all fours. Let me turn back around this way. Couple of breaths here to just restore. Stay here. I'm just going to mention to you that a couple days ago, somebody wrote something really beautiful in our Find What Feels Good Cool about how, I did a video that once used to be really hard for me, and even though I've been working really hard and practicing Yoga with Adriene for a while, it was actually harder. And I think it's because I know so much more about my body, or I was working so hard. I know how to integrate. So even things like Warrior One that I used to blast through, now I really relish in, and every muscle comes along for the ride. And so I think this sort of thing might be kind of advanced for some people, the Danda, and but really it's not. It's this kind of intrinsic thing that we need to just connect to so that we can stand up tall and sit up taller. You can go ahead and sit up tall. Speaking of that, just come to a nice comfortable seat so that we can sit up tall and stand up taller with more ease, with more connectivity, and ultimately so that we can be more open, right? Lots of this going on, me too. So hopefully this yoga tip video will help you kind of open your heart and just tap into more yoga off your mat. Have an awesome day, everyone. Leave questions, comments below. That's super important. I love the conversation, and I'm super glad to have it with you. I'm super grateful to have it with you so that we're not just, doing the yoga robot thing, but we're actually talking and investigating and staying curious about our minds, bodies, and hearts. From my heart to yours, take good care. Namaste.